So what in the world are we modern people supposed to think about this? Demons, really? Is that what we're expected to believe? We know what the people of Jesus' time thought. They thought that there was an evil power living in another dimension, and that an evil power was at war with God. They knew for certain that God was going to eventually win that war, but in the meantime it was going to take its toll on the people of earth as the battle was fought. And this power, they often called it Satan, sent its minions to destroy and torment people. When someone seemed to be odd or dangerous or just uncontrollable, it was believed that demons had somehow gotten a hold of them. And what do we believe? Maybe that, maybe not that. I've met people who do believe there are still demons that come and torment us, some who don't. I think of it like this. I'm not worried about whether demons are real or not, because what I think of is demons are whatever it is that torments or destroys us. And there are certainly things around that torment and destroy us. And if my definition is right, then we have plenty of demons around. I'm sometimes troubled, are you not? Sometimes tormented. I'm sometimes tormented by things that are happening around me that I don't seem to have any power over, any control over, and yet they seem to be out of control. So I've certainly been troubled and tormented. And there are things that cause destruction all around us, aren't there? It's undeniable. There are habits of our own. There are powers outside of us that cause destruction to us. These things are destructive of ourselves and others. So if you ask me, are there demons around? Oh yeah, there's demons around. And these demons were on full display in Orlando, Florida. A man with a history of violence and an emotionally unstable person was filled with hatred for other people, did a terrible thing. He walked into a nightclub and he just began to shoot. Killed 49 people. The people that he killed already belonged to a community that tended to be maligned and disregarded and discriminated against. And they were there in that place that night because it was one place where they felt safe because they were together. And this man hated that. And because this is America, this man who was unstable and full of hate was easily able to get a hold of some very powerful weapons. And he destroyed 49 lives. No, thousands of lives. Because if you add up all the people that cared about the people who were shot, we are talking about thousands of people. And at the end of this event, that man claimed that he was doing what he was doing for God. There are demons, and they are legion. And I'm thinking of 3 demons in particular today. One is the demon violence. This demon is interested in getting people to take the lives of others. With sticks and stones or rifles and drones, this demon has infected our society completely. And it has done it in many instances by convincing us that acts of violence are what God wants us to do. This man was steeped in violence. His parents seemed deeply regretful about it. So I don't know where that came from. But it wasn't hard to find people who encouraged him to be violent. That demon lives in so many places. Jesus met a man who was acting violently himself. I meet people who talk about it and laugh about it and joke about it and are entertained by the violence in the world around us. The demon has infected them. Some people are saying that if only someone in that nightclub had been also a violent and armed person, they could have stopped what happened there, as if somehow more acts of violence are going to solve acts of violence. This demon has convinced us that violence is a solution to our problems, and we believe that in our society. And it has to be cast out. Another demon that was pleased with what happened in Orlando was the demon of prejudice. It seems very likely that this man picked that nightclub because it was filled with GLBTQ persons. He may have been gay himself, it seems, and the demon of prejudice caused him so much hate for himself that he took it out on others. We are all aware, aren't we, that the demon all around us, this demon of prejudice, is all around us in the hearts and minds and souls of so many people, and it is a destructive demon. My son is gay, and I thought how easily it could have been him that was in that place, whose life was taken for no reason other than who he chose to love. That is a demon that is in our world. And there's a demon named pride. And this might seem like a strange thing to say during Pride Month, the day after the parade in Portland, but I'm not talking about that kind of pride. One thing is this: if you are a person who has been shamed all your life for being who you are, the ability to stand up and be proud of who you are is a good thing. To be able to say, this is who I am, God made me this way. But the demon of pride is the one that says, I'm good, you're not. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm exceptional in some way. And when this demon takes hold of us, we start to look out at the world as if it is them and us. I hear so much of this. Someone looks down on Muslims, another looks down on gay people, someone else looks down on women, and another on immigrants, and another on young people, and on and on and on and on and on. When the demons of false pride get together with the demons of prejudice and violence, you can bet something bad will happen. These demons gnaw at us, and we are not free from them yet. They're in the news, they're in the movies, they're on Facebook, they're all over the place. And they consume us from the inside out until all we can do is walk among the tombs, naked and homeless. Can anything help but the power of God? If we want to live, some pigs have to die. How many of you were troubled when we read that part in the scriptures? How many of you were bothered by the idea that those pigs had to die in that story? Did that bother anyone? I know you've heard it before, but most people, when I read this story, mostly that's as far as people can go, because as soon as that happens, they can't listen anymore. But you got to remember a couple of things about that. First of all, it's good that you're concerned and compassionate about animals and those who are weak and small. That's good. But remember, in Jesus' time, pigs were not a valuable thing. These were people who ate kosher food, after all. These pigs were beyond useless. They were even evil. So from their perspective, it was different. The demons that Jesus cast out went into the pigs and drove them mad suddenly, and they rushed down the hill and were drowned. It's a really good image, a metaphor for what has to happen to us, because for us to be free of demons, some pigs are going to have to die. You understand? If we want to live, let me say it again, some pigs are going to have to die. There are going to be things that we're going to have to let go of if we want to be rid of the demons. We can be healed by God, but we're going to have to let go of some things and let them run down the hill and be drowned. We're going to have to give up. We're going to have to give up our love of violence. We got to stop playing around with it. You like to go to violent movies, action movies? Don't. We've got to stop playing around with that demon, because it's too dangerous for us. And now, if I haven't yet, I'm going to say something controversial. Are you ready? If you don't want to hear it, then put your hands over your ears. And you got to take in heart the fact that this is a political statement that I'm about to make. I think it's a spiritual statement, but it's going to sound like a political statement. One of the pigs that has to die is our love and fascination with firearms. We have got to stop it. We have got to change the laws, and we have got to look at things differently. I don't care what the Second Amendment says. It's not going to stop us from making some common sense decisions about weapons, and we have to do it. That pig has to die if we want to be free of that demon. The idea that we should have easy access to powerful weapons has just got to go. The frantic shouting that follows a shooting like this is always the same. If only a good guy with a gun had been in that place. No, we need fewer weapons, not more. That pig needs to die. We need to stop honoring military might as if it was the single thing that makes us free, because that is simply not true. We need to be more careful about this. And now I think I'm back to the non-controversial part, so you can take your fingers out of your ears. Because we might have to give up that comfortable seat where we are surrounded only by people who are like us. We might have to sit down with people who look differently. We might even have to, among us we're killing the pigs, change signs on our bathrooms. Can you imagine having to do that? To become comfortable with people who are different than us. To give up our image of ourselves as the only ones who are right, even normal, and to stop looking at it that way. Nationalism, culturalism, privilege, wealth, religionism, all of those pigs can run down the hill and drown, if you ask me. Let them go. We don't need them. They're in our way. We got to clear ourselves from these demons and become different people than we've been. Maybe one day we will be found to be clothed and completely sane and sitting at Jesus' feet. Amen?
You've been listening to a sermon by Reverend Stephen Carnahan, pastor of High Street Congregational Church in Auburn, Maine. If you feel inspired by what you hear, we invite you to join us in person for worship services every Sunday morning, beginning at 10 o'clock. Of course, you can always listen to Steve's sermons on the web. New sermons are posted every Monday by midday. Please take a moment to explore this website for more information about our church, or visit our Facebook page at High Street Congregational Church, UCC. We hope that God's presence will be known to you every hour of every day, and that God's blessings will rest upon you now and always. See you next week.